Your energy is your currency. It's what you wake up with. It's what carries you through the day. It's what fuels your thoughts, drives your decisions, and holds your boundaries. And yet, too many people give it away carelessly through over-explaining, oversharing, and over-pleasing. When you tell everyone what you're doing, you're opening doors that were meant to stay closed. You're inviting opinions that were never asked for, judgments that were never earned, and energies that were never aligned with your spirit. Not everyone needs to know your plans, not because you're hiding, but because they won't honor them. Some people only listen so they can measure your pace. Some only ask so they can compete, not support. And others, they drain you with their doubt, their questions, their projections, until you begin to second-guess your own direction. That's the danger of unfiltered access. You have to treat your vision like a seed in the soil. You don't dig it up every day to show people it's growing. You water it, you nourish it, and you protect it from harsh weather. That means choosing who gets close to it. That means choosing who gets close to you. Your energy was not made to be stretched thin by people who don't feed your soul. Your dreams weren't designed to survive in rooms full of noise and skepticism. And your spirit wasn't built to dance to the tune of every voice except your own. Sometimes silence is protection, sometimes distance is self-love, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Because when you protect your energy, you protect your clarity. And when you protect your clarity, you make space for your life to flow in the direction it was always meant to go. You don't need to be everything for everyone. You don't need to attend every conversation, answer every question, or prove anything to anybody. The people who are truly for you won't need an explanation. They'll feel your growth, even if you never say a word. So be intentional with your time, be selective with your space, be careful with your peace, because once your energy is scattered, so is your focus. And when your focus is gone, so is your power. Silence is not just the absence of noise. It's the presence of wisdom. In a world that is always loud, always demanding your attention, silence becomes your strongest weapon. It's in the stillness where your thoughts are clear, where your purpose reveals itself without interference, and where your strength begins to quietly manifest. When you remain silent, you're not retreating, you're conserving. You're choosing to use your energy to create, to build, to become, rather than to announce. Most people fail to realize that real power doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to advertise itself. It doesn't need to demand validation. Real power is unshakable, and it can stand alone without needing the world to notice. In the quiet, your mind becomes a clear, open space to focus on what matters. The noise of the world fades, and all that's left is you, your purpose, and your next step. The world can be full of distractions, opinions, doubts, and noise, but when you choose silence, you cut through all of that. You give yourself the ability to hear the true calling of your soul without the external interference of others' expectation. When you don't announce your every move, when you don't talk about every step, you are moving with intention, not impulse. Silence teaches you to move with grace, to plan your next steps without feeling the need to show everyone along the way. In silence, your actions speak louder than your words ever could. Every small step you take becomes a declaration of your power. Not in what you say, but in what you do. What silence also does is help you remain undisturbed by those who may not understand your journey. You are free from the judgments and opinions of others, free from the need to justify your decisions. People who constantly talk about their plans are often seeking reassurance. They want someone to validate their dreams, to affirm that their choices are right. But true power doesn't need affirmation. It needs focus, it needs clarity, it needs stillness. When you're quiet, you also observe more. You see beyond the surface. You hear what others aren't saying. You notice the body language, the subtle cues, the undercurrents of what's really going on around you. This kind of awareness is invaluable. It sharpens your instincts, allows you to read situations more clearly, and helps you know when to speak and when to remain silent. Silence gives you the space to listen to your inner voice, to trust your intuition, and to take your next step with confidence. In a world obsessed with constant communication, silence feels like a radical act of power. It's easy to get lost in the noise, to feel like you have to shout to be seen, to talk to be heard. But true strength doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't need to explain itself. It simply is. Silence is your permission to exist without needing to justify your worth or your purpose. Think about the people who inspire you the most. Are they the ones who are constantly talking about what they're going to do, or are they the ones who quietly do the work, let their actions speak, and only show their results when the time is right? You'll notice that those who have built true power understand the art of silence. They understand that words are often empty without action. They know that showing up and doing the work is far more powerful than telling the world about it before it's done. Silence, therefore, is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. It's the discipline to stay focused, the courage to remain steady in the face of uncertainty, and the wisdom to know that you don't need to explain your journey to anyone. It's a quiet rebellion against a world that often expects you to shout about your worth. When you embrace silence, you embrace your own unshakable confidence. You know who you are, and you know what you're building, and that's all you need. In silence, you build a deeper connection to your true self. You get to know your thoughts, your desires, and your motivations on a deeper level. You learn to trust yourself, and that trust becomes the foundation of your strength. The more comfortable you become with silence, the more comfortable you become with your own power. Because power isn't about loud proclamations. Power is about standing firm, standing still, and allowing your presence to speak for itself. We live in a world that encourages openness, sharing, and vulnerability. But not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Not everyone is worthy of knowing your deepest thoughts, your fears, your dreams. The more you share, the more you open the doors to your heart, the more you invite energies that may not be aligned with your truth. People will come into your life with different intentions, and not all of them will have pure motives. Some may come to uplift you, to walk beside you as you grow, but many will come only to observe, judge, or even disrupt your peace. They'll ask questions not to understand you, but to gauge where you stand in comparison to them. And the moment you open up to them, you'll allow them to influence your direction, your purpose, and your energy. Not everyone is meant to walk with you on your journey. When you start sharing too much, whether it's your plans, your ideas, or your personal struggles, you're opening the door for people who may not be in a position to offer support. They may listen to you, but not with the intention to lift you up. They may listen with skepticism, with judgment, or even with envy. And once you let those energies in, you invite them to play a role in your life that they were never meant to have. There are people who are like leeches. They will latch on to you, not because they love or care for you, but because they are trying to take from you your energy, your inspiration, your resources. They don't want to see you grow. They just want to feed off your light while offering you nothing in return. By giving them access, you risk giving them the power to drain you, to keep you from achieving your true potential. They may not even realize they're doing it, but the more you share with them, the more they pull from you. Then there are those who might disguise themselves as friends or allies, but are really just waiting for the right moment to turn on you. They might pretend to support you, but when you need them the most, they'll disappear. Or worse, they'll be the ones who doubt your abilities or sabotage your efforts. These are the people who will always find something wrong with your ideas or your path. They will criticize your choices, second guess your decisions, and tell you what you should be doing differently. The more you reveal to them, the more you open yourself to their negativity. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay. And not everyone who stays is meant to be there forever. There are people who are only meant to teach you lessons. Lessons in boundaries, in trust, in knowing your worth. But if you keep opening up to them, you will find yourself constantly giving away pieces of your soul to people who are not capable of holding them. You may find that after spending time with them, you feel exhausted, unfulfilled, or confused. That's because they were never meant to have access to your energy in the first place. And there's also the matter of your own mental and emotional well-being. Not everyone is equipped to handle the weight of your emotions. Not everyone can hold space for your pain or your victory. Some people will hear your struggles and use them against you later. They'll twist your words, distort your intentions, or even make you feel guilty for sharing your truth. Not everyone has the emotional maturity or the empathy to support you in the way you deserve. And when you give them access, you risk not only your peace, but also your emotional health. Moreover, some people will simply be indifferent. They won't understand the significance of what you're sharing because they don't have the capacity to truly listen, to truly care. They might listen because they feel obligated or because it's socially expected of them, but their attention is divided. When you share your soul with them, you're not really being heard. And when you're not truly heard, you're not truly seen. You deserve more than that. You deserve people who can reflect your light back to you, who can hold your vision, who can listen with their whole hearts without judgment or distraction. The reality is that your truth is sacred. It is unique to you. It's not something that should be handed out freely to anyone who asks. You don't owe anyone your vulnerability. You don't owe anyone access to your inner world just because they're curious or because they're in your life for the moment. The more you share with people who don't deserve it, the more you diminish the sacredness of your own experience. Your thoughts, your dreams, your struggles are not for public consumption. They are yours and they must be treated with respect. Your journey is sacred. Your growth is sacred. Your mind, your body, your heart, they are sacred. And not everyone deserves the privilege of seeing that side of you. There is power in withholding, power in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, power in knowing who can be trusted with your truth and who can't. By choosing wisely who gets access to your life, you protect your energy, your peace, and your growth. You create the space necessary for your dreams to flourish without interference or contamination. You build a circle of people who truly see you, who value you, and who understand the sacredness of your journey. Because the truth is, when people deserve access to you, they don't have to ask for it. They earn it through their actions, their support, and their unwavering belief in your worth. In a world that values conversation, words often become the default response to every situation. We talk to fill the silence, to assert our presence, to seek validation, or simply because it's expected of us. But the power of silence, of choosing to talk less, holds a deeper magic than most realize. When you learn to talk less and observe more, you open yourself up to a level of understanding that is far more profound than any spoken word. We often think that talking is the best way to express ourselves, to show our intelligence, our value, or our worth. But true wisdom doesn't lie in the number of words you say, but in your ability to observe the world around you, to listen to the subtleties, and to gather information without always feeling the need to respond. When you talk less, you create space for others to reveal themselves. You allow them to share what they truly think, feel, and desire without interruption. And in doing so, you learn more about them than you ever could if you were busy filling the conversation with your own words. Every situation, every interaction carries subtle clues about the people around you, the environment you're in, and the opportunities waiting to be seized. Most people are too caught up in talking to notice these clues. They're too focused on expressing their opinions or proving a point to observe the deeper undercurrents at play. When you step back and choose to talk less, you open yourself up to the nuances of body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and the unsaid words. These are the things that truly reveal a person's character, intentions, and desires. It's in the pauses, the silences, the unsaid things that truth often resides. The more you talk, the more you reveal about yourself, but the more you listen and observe, the more you understand about others. People often speak in a way that hides their true emotions. They may say one thing, but their actions or their body language may tell a different story. When you take the time to observe, you see the gap between what someone says and what they do. You can identify their insecurities, their fears, their desires, all without them ever having to say a word. The power lies not in your ability to speak, but in your ability to observe and understand. Talking less also allows you to center yourself. When you stop filling the space with words, you create an opportunity to reflect, to understand your own thoughts and feelings more clearly. The world is constantly pushing us to speak, to share, to engage, but in doing so, we often lose touch with our inner voice. By choosing to talk less, you invite yourself to listen more, to your heart, to your mind, and to the silence within. In the stillness, your intuition becomes clearer. You begin to trust yourself more, to understand your own motivations, and to find